Well, we have new UFO footage from Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. They had an episode of Weaponized, their podcast, last night, and they had some really awesome footage from this giant UFO that appeared over a military base in California. And they have footage of it from multiple iPhones. So let's talk about it and let's see the footage, right? So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, I love Weaponized. They've dropped some really juicy stuff over the last few months, like the Mosul Orb. And now they've got this really cool sighting that happened over 29 Palms, the military base in California. Apparently, it's a very large military base. And in this particular sighting, there's this triangle-shaped UFO that appears over the base, and it's estimated to be possibly as big as half a football field in size or larger. And a bunch of military guys saw it, and they came out and started videoing it, and one would come out and start videoing it, and another would come out and video it. And so we have multiple angles and multiple videos of this object. Now, it's just, lights in the sky, a la the Phoenix lights, where there's a large craft, but you can only see the little lights on the edges. Apparently, the people that were actually there could see the shape of the craft. That does not appear in the footage at all. Just like with the Phoenix lights, people there, some of them could actually see the shape of the object. Well, let's just see the footage. I'm going to just show, because there's several different clips, I'm just going to show the clips. I'm not going to show the commentary until afterwards. Then I'll show a little bit of the commentary, and then there's some follow-up that was really interesting as well. So, so let's just go to the footage. Here goes. I'm going to cut it in order. Here goes.
What is... Those are not aluminum rounds, because aluminum rounds fall. And nobody shoots in a 5-gun section.
This is crazy.
No, you can see like an outline of something.
Yeah. My phone.
It's moving.
Take
What
me
you got?
to your leader. Oh, hell no. Yo, we got aliens out here, dog.
My phone camera says.
Yo, this is fucking weird.
We got UFOs outside.
Yo, hey, everyone's out here. Yo, I'm about to be one of those crazy old motherfuckers. What is this shit?
You're gonna see me in my basement discovering the sword behind us.
Now it's not showing up in my camera.
I told you all this research wasn't for nothing. I knew aliens were real.
There's more lights around it.
So that was pretty cool, right? We have multiple views, multiple cameras on this object that is over this, giant military base in California, 29 Palms. And you get to hear the excited chatter of the guys, and that's fun. And their, military bravado. And then there's an interesting feature of this event. And let's go to that now.
I love the color commentary that goes along with this. A couple of questions come to mind. It looks like the lights are blinking on and off. Is that an affectation from the camera, or is it clouds, or what do you make of that?
Yeah, the lights were not blinking on and off. There's the in focus, out of focus thing that you can see in some of these clips, but the lights were steady, but there were some auxiliary lights, and I don't have a bunch of that in the footage, but all the witnesses were saying that, kind of like a sparkle, there were tiny little things around it at times. I don't have good footage of that. That's just witness report.
So there were additional lights other than the main lights of the triangle-shaped object. There were possibly other little objects floating around there doing their thing. And that's exactly what happened in the Phoenix Lights case. There were, in fact, I think there were supposed to be lights that detached from the main object and were flying around. And but in any case, there were other objects as well as that large object. Now, in the Phoenix Lights incident, it was a much larger object, but the shape of it is basically the same, a triangle, and there were these other additional objects flying around. So the the MO of this sighting matches the MO of the sighting in Phoenix in the 90s. So were they the same beings? I mean, that'd be really interesting, right? If you watched my video about Dick Allgire's remote viewing of the Phoenix Lights, he saw that the beings responsible for that were Nordics and Greys. There was he interacted with a Nordic being that was the leader of this endeavor, or at least of what he was seeing. And there were some Greys, or some, he didn't call them Greys, but they were smaller beings that were subservient to the Nordic. And the way he described the smaller beings, it sounds like a Grey. So, so is this the same thing, or is it Nordics and Greys again with this sighting as well? Who knows? But the story does go on because they launched some flares. The military guys launched flares to see if they could get a better view of this thing. And here's what happened when they did that.
The Marines, a totally different detachment, they shot up some lumen rounds, some flares, to illuminate this craft to see if they can get a better look at it. And so what you're going to see right now is a video. It's kind of out of focus at first. So you see these kind of more bright yellow, white lights. And you'll see as the camera focuses, they're starting to descend right on top of this craft that was there. So we can clearly see now what flares look like and what this string of lights on a craft look like. The odd part is, and the video clips out right after, but as these lumen flares drop down, those lights, from my eyes, appear to just kind of blink out in succession. However, the people that were there, they say that the entire craft disappeared. The craft itself was no longer there because they could see a little bit better than this kind of poor footage that we have.
Yeah, you have to wonder, how would it react? You shoot flares above it so it can be illuminated. How might it react if it's intelligently controlled? And let's see it.
Yeah, so that was what was interesting. Let's see that next clip.
Those are other buildings.
Oh my God, they're coming down.
You sure?
Yeah, I can see.
I didn't know Artie could shoot that fucking high.
But those things look like they're getting further and further away. The fifth one's gone.
All right, the dominant image in that is these flares. It's a big glowing thing. And then it looks like the lights on this craft either disappear or they're out of focus.
Yeah, so that's what, so they shot up these lumen rounds, which are a different color, and while the craft is stationary, these lumen rounds start descending. Then what happens is, as it's getting close to that craft, what I see is that the camera is going just a little out of focus, and that's right where the clip ends, but everybody there said it was gone. Like it's as if it just blinked out. It was no longer there.
So as soon as the object was about to be illuminated, it vanished. It just rippled out of existence, which is very telling, right? So this object wanted to be seen because clearly if it didn't want to be seen, it wouldn't have been seen. It has the same MO as the Phoenix Lights case. And in that incident, the craft chose, or the occupants of the craft chose, to go over Phoenix right when the Halley-Bob comet was in view, and people were outside looking up at the sky. So they chose a time when everybody was looking up to reveal themselves, and then just powered majestically over Phoenix and actually beyond Phoenix. They went quite a ways, the Phoenix lights. So it wanted to be seen. This was a display. This was a showcase. And so is that what was happening here as well? It seems to be. But just like with the Phoenix Lights case, they only wanted to tease. They didn't want to reveal. We see that again and again with the phenomenon. They'll put on a brilliant display for a few people and let them get a few videos and pictures, but they're not going to do a mass sighting over a city in daytime and let everybody see it. There seems to be, some methodology at play here, where they are simply tantalizing us and teasing us, possibly trying to awaken our minds to the possibilities and raising our consciousness, making us say wow, as Grant Cameron likes to say. And that's something that Gary Nolan said again the other day in his own way, that the phenomenon itself was the wow signal. I really thought that was clever. So, but yeah, that echoes what Grant Cameron says, that the phenomenon is here to make us go, wow, and to raise our consciousness. And maybe when our consciousness is raised enough, it will do the big reveal and not these little teases. So whatever's going on is really interesting, and it seems to be continuing to go on in the skies in California and, of course, everywhere else. So hats off to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp for bringing this footage to us. Really juicy footage. We got a large object over a military base with other lights flying around it. A bunch of people saw it. We got multiple angles, multiple videos of it. And we have witness testimony. And in fact, later in the segment, in that podcast, they actually interview a couple of witnesses from that incident. So I encourage you to go check out the podcast and listen to those interviews and, see the whole thing from start to finish. Really good episode of Weaponized. Love it. Keep it going, Jeremy and George. Y'all are doing good work. And I can't wait to see the next episode. So if you've enjoyed this coverage of their coverage, please give this video a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. And if you could share this video when it drops on social media, that would be super helpful. There are plenty of other videos on the channel for you to check out, so do that at your leisure. And until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.